There's nothing more heartbreaking than spending hours writing an amazing blog post only to have it sitting on the wrong end of Google search results. Focusing on using the right SEO tactics can help you avoid this. This video is about the steps you should take once the content has been written, edited, reviewed, and is now live on the website with a focus on technical and on page SEO. So much effort has gone into getting the content published, and you're now the technical SEO specialist of the team. Therefore, it is your role to make sure that the new page can be crawled, indexed, that is shown as best as possible in Google search by optimizing the title, the meta description, that it has internal links that is being rendered correctly by Google bots, that the open graph image, title, description display properly on social media, and look at the other different technical aspects. So this is what you're going to learn in today's video. Isn't it that exciting? Let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to check is whether the new web page is added to the sitemap and if it's not blocked by the robots.txt directive. This step doesn't really belong to the process of checking new published content, but I want you to see that. So let's start with the sitemap. I'm going to look for the sitemap of this website. You know what? Every time I want to check for the sitemap, I go to the robots.txt directive first. Then I copy the sitemap from here because sometimes it can be tricky to find the sitemap. Some websites use weird sitemap URLs. So here is the sitemap of this website, and it is added by Yoast. If you're using a CMS like WordPress, it's highly unlucky that the new content or the new web page is not added to the sitemap. But if you're using another not a CMS management, not a CMS technology to for your website, then you have to either add the new web page manually or automate this by using, for example, Python. So let's assume that this website has add new content here in blog, and we want to check if this website or this web page, this new web page, has been added to the sitemap. We're going to do this first manually. So we were in blog. We're going to go to the post and Control F and check for that. And here it is. That was added in 20 July, the last 20 July. We're going to see another example, another website. It's the SEO Sly for Olgazar. It's an amazing SEO professional. So she has added in July 5th new content. I'm going to look again for the sitemap and look whether this web page has been added or not. Post again, Control F, and look for that. It has been added here. So how can we check this by using, for example, Screaming Frog? So we open up the Screaming Frog, we go to the list mode, then upload and download separate XML sitemap. And we need to add the URL of the sitemap. What is this? The URL of the sitemap. Okay, Screaming Frog. Then you start the crawl here. You're gonna find how many sitemaps were added to six linked sitemaps to download. Here they are. Hmm, we're gonna wait for this. Okay, and the crawl started automatically. So we wanted to check for this blog post. We go to the Screaming Frog and we look for it here. It's not already found. Once the crawl is ended, you can look for it here. Make sure that it has been added to the sitemap. Okay, we're gonna wait for it. Okay, now, now the crawl is done. We're gonna copy the URL of that last blog post and click OK, and it was added to the sitemap. So let's move now to checking whether the new content is not blocked by the robots.txt rule or not. So here is our new content. I've got some, actually two methods. The first one is by using this Chrome extension, which will tell you whether the new content was blocked by the robots.txt or not. And the second method is by going to the robots.txt tester. Isn't it that not working? Okay, here it is, for example. You can add this Chrome extension and the robots.txt status is allowed. So how can we check this again in the robots.txt txt tester? I'm sorry, tester. Yes. So we want to first copy the robots.txt directive of this website, and here robots.txt tester. Okay, it's allowed. Everything's allowed here, except for the WP admin. Okay, but I wanna show you just the process. You go to the robots.txt tester here. You copy the robots.txt directive of your website or of the website you're auditing. Then you check for the last URL you wanna check. This doesn't really matter. This is my website, but it doesn't matter. All you have to do is to omit this and test. And you can see that is allowed. If that was disallowed by the robots.txt, you would see here that is allowed. And now you know how to check whether the new content or any other content is added to the sitemap and is not blocked by the robots.txt directives. Now we want to look at some on-page element and accessibility for new published content. So we're going to start, for example, by reviewing the title and the meta description. I'm going to show you how to do that by using some Chrome extension tools and manually by going to the inspect element. So let's start with the detailed SEO Chrome extension. So you can see here that the title is, as it can be shown here, correct, but the meta description is missing. So what does that mean? It means that Google now has the ability to choose the meta description. We do not give him any hint. Even yes, sometimes we can write the meta description and Google chooses another one, but we don't want him to guess. And this web page is very fresh, and this is why it's so important to do these checklist just right after publishing new content. So if you go here to another the web page for the same website, we can see that the meta description are written. And the title is 34 character, probably too long. We're gonna check this by using another website. So what does that mean? We're gonna check now if Google has chose the same description or not. So let's see, want to create a mobile guide. So you can do the site colon, click OK. You see that Google is showing the same meta description we have written on our website. So how we can do this manually, we can go to the view page source and Control F and look for title first. Then you can look for meta name description Here is one to create, or you can just click or write description if it's too much writing things or technical. So now we're gonna use another website to see how it is called technical SEO to see how or to generate how Google is gonna display your title and meta description and how you can improve this for a better CTR. You go to Merkle, this website, and you go to SERP and ranking, SERP simulator. Then you type here your URL, the page title, and the meta description, and you can see how it is shown. Let's pretend the URL is HTTPS. Okay, it is my URL. Now, yes, the title is like this, and here is how it is shown on Google search, and the meta description is below 157, which is recommended, because if you're gonna written something more than this, let's see, you would see that is no, sorry, you would see that, okay, let me write again. You would see that Google has chosen to take it out from the search, so you better keep it between or less than 160 or less than 157. So let's now look at other elements, or let's view another website, which is the SEO slide. We go to the detailed SEO. The title is here and description is correct. Everything seems good here. This is because Olga is such an amazing SEO specialist. I can use another Chrome extension which gives me the title again, the description, the URL, and even the canonical version of this website. And this is very important because this web page must be self-canonical, which means it must use the real canonical to or point it to itself. This way, if you are using other, for example, UTM parameters by Google Tag Manager, they won't be ranking instead of this canonical version of your web page. But how can we make sure that Google has chosen? Because the real canonical is just a hint for Google. It's not a directive like the meta robots tag. So how can we make sure that Google has chosen this to be the right canonical page, the right canonical version of that web page? You can go to your Google Search Console. In URL inspection, you choose whatever URL you want to see, but you need to have access to Google Search Console. Then you inspect that URL, and I'm going to show you how you can see whether Google has chosen this web page to be the canonical version or another one. You go to page indexing here, and you see indexing that Google selected canonical the inspected URL, which means this URL is self-canonical, is referencing to itself. So let's keep up with this Chrome extension. We can see now the meta robots directive, which are very important. They are directives because if you say to Google to no index this page, it will follow it. Okay, so you can see here that is indexed. How can we check this? In view page source, again, a simple control F, and you click on index, and you see that the meta robots tag are follow indexed. Now, what else we can see? We can look for some accessibility elements. For example, if your images have the alt for images. Where shall we go? I'm gonna go to web developer extension and go to image and display alt attribute for your images. And you can see here that the alt, if for example someone is using the screen reader, he can read this. He cannot see the image, but he can read that this image is about interaction to next pane. And it's correct. It's pretty straightforward. It's meaningful. A bad example of the alt attribute would be that, for example, enp or too small alt attribute, or for example, if you're using or stuffing your keywords here, this is too bad because this is not the right place to use your keywords. So don't be one of those newbies who use these bad tactics or outdated tactics. So that was pretty much about the on-page element and accessibility of the new published content. You can see again alt attribute here, how all guys using them. We go back to this website. Does it use the alt attribute here? Display. No, this is bad. Not using the alt attribute here again. So as a technical SEO specialist, you should recommend them to use this alt attribute for better accessibility. Now we want to add internal links to our new content, new web page. So I guess you already know how important internal links are in the eyes of Google. So the more internal links you have for this specific web page, the more Google will consider it as an important page of the website. But how much internal links should we use for a specific website? Is it like five? Is it like 10? Is 10 enough for this new page? Well, the right answer for this is that the number of internal links should be above the average. For example, if for your website or for the blog of this website, the average internal links for any specific web page is, for example, 50, then 5 and 10 are considered to be very low, and you should set more than 50 internal links for this new website. So how can we find about the average number of internal links of each or of the website? So we're going to use again the screaming frog, and we can copy the internal links and on Google Sheet and look for the average number. So let's start the crawl here. Yes, it's gotta be quick. This website is not very large. Now we should go to internal, and we go to HTML and export this. I'm gonna export it directly to my Google Sheet here and name it, for example, uh, average. No, average internal, and save. Yes, so I'm gonna open up a new Google Sheet here, and you find it here, average internal. So I'm gonna add a row below first. Let me add it here. Search on row below. Then we go to internal. Inter, inter, internal. Well, I couldn't find this. Okay, let me check it manually. Call that in links. I'm sorry, it's in links. So we go below here, and we use the average function of yes. And the average number of this website is 46. So we need to find more than 46 internal links for this website. We can use other filters here, like get rid of, for example, the homepage. We don't want to make comparison to the homepage. We want to compete with the other content or web page of the blog. You can get rid of all of this, then do the average once again. So now, how can we actually find these opportunities or to add anchor text on our website linking to our new web page? So the first thing you can use if you're using a WordPress website, you can use the link whisper WordPress plugin. So I'm not going to show you how to set all of the settings and options of this plugin because, for example, YouTube is full of videos about this plugin. It's widely used. So we can check this. The second thing we can use is the site colon search. For example, for the SEO slide, uh, I want to check for opportunities for the word, for example, canonical. So how can we do this? We copy this website, we take site colon, the website itself, and canonical here. And we click OK. And Google is gonna link to or give us these URLs where you can find opportunities for the canonical word. Control F, canonical. So you can use this, for example, for as an anchor text, or this, for example, if you publish new content about non-colorization, you can use this, for example, to link for it. And there's one caveat about this because uh, Google is showing you the best or the strongest web page of your website. So if you're linking from the strongest web pages, you're giving a hint to Google that this internal link is meaningful and powerful. So how can we find internal links opportunity using Screaming Frog? So let's use again this SEO slide website from Olga. We go here, new, and we copy the URL. Then we go to configuration, custom search, and we add our custom search. I've already done that. Let's name it canonicalization, for example. Contain, yes. Text, yes. And the word here is canonical. And it's within the content area or the page text. We don't want it to be within the HTML or the HTML head. Otherwise, it would find the real canonical. So we click OK. Then we launch the crawl. We can do one thing that's related to this last update of Screaming Frog in segments. So in segments, we would look for not the address, the custom search. Custom extraction, custom search, non-colorization. And click OK again, and we can launch the crawl here. What we can do now, we should go to the custom search here and look for canonicalization. No URL is found. Now one URL is found here. SEO auditing. And we're gonna wait for the crawl to end. Another URL, keyword canonicalization. I'm gonna open up this and look for the word canonical. Canonical. Yes, so you can link from this to your new web page, which is about canonicalization. Go back to Screaming Frog, and we have already found 7 opportunities to add unique internal links to our new published content. Now, we've got one important question here. What if the website is so big? Imagine a website that is so large. Are we going to crawl the entire website just to find some internal links opportunity? For some big website, it's gonna be impossible. It can take up to 2 days, 3 days, even 1 week to crawl the entire website. So we need to refine the crawl. We need to narrow the crawl. So how can we do this? So let's go again with the Olgazar website and imagine a scenario where we want to, for example, find internal links opportunity for, let's say, core web vitals. We want to find some anchor text for that. So we go again to custom research and we add we add again, for example, core web vitals contains text core web vitals within the content area. Now, how we can focus only with one folder? Let's imagine we want to only focus with the blog. We want to only crawl the blog. So how can we do this actually? We go to configuration again, include, then what you can do here is to only crawl this blog folder of this website. So you can click on point here or dot here, then start and click OK. Then you can launch the crawl and you're gonna see and notice that only the home page and the blog folder are gonna be crawled. And we go to the custom search here. We look for Core Web Vitals. We have already found 28, 30 opportunities. So let's go, for example, here. And we look for Core Web Vitals. Only one opportunities, and it's already linked. Let's go here again. Core Web Vitals. And it is already linked. Another opportunity, but it's just an image here. Linked, not linked. Let's go with another SEO audit tool. Let's go with this core web vitals. So we can use this, for example. It needs to be relevant and meaningful. And here is how you can narrow the crawl by using the screaming frog. What we can do now to accelerate and speed up the process of indexing is to request indexing in Google Search Console. I know that Google has been telling us not to do that, it's not necessary, but I'm gonna go for it. So I will go with this web page, for example, in the URL inspection, of course, and here you can request indexing. So while you are in the Google Search Console, what we can do again is to go for and visit whether we have some problems with the schema markup. For example, here I've got one warning about the breadcrumbs, but we're gonna see this in the schema markup validator or rich result test. So I'm gonna test live this URL to see, for example, whether it's mobile friendly or not. But this is not the only method to see whether the your web page is mobile friendly. You can go directly to the web page and, for example, this web page and inspect, and you go for mobile here and see how it changes, how the image changes according to the dimension here. You can use responsive, you can use iPhone, Galaxy, or Pixels. There are many of them here. Okay, we go back to our Google Search Console and we view the tested page. So we go to this is the rendered HTML. We go to the screenshot and we see that our web page can be mobile friendly or not. Here, for example, I've got one problem with this element here, so I'm going to inspect this further. Remember, guys, this is just a website for testing. It's not a real website. And this section in the HTML here is very important, for example, for JavaScript website, because you need to check that the source HTML is rendered uh, as it's supposed to be by Google. So, for example, I can go to my web page and copy and see whether it has been rendered correctly here or not. And we see that it is within the H2 element. H2 convertição de device. I actually forgot to tell you, I think that I forgot to tell you about the headings in the on page element earlier. So they are very important and you should inspect and watch them out. So we were talking about the mobile friendliness of the specific web page. If you don't have access to the Google Search Console, what you can do instead is to go to the mobile friendly test and you test whether the web page is mobile friendly or not. So Google has told us that the mobile friendly test will be gone by the end of 2023. So you can use instead the rich result test. I'm gonna go for the mobile friendly and test the URL. I can do the same here, inspect mobile. Oh, we've got some issues. No, not really. Hmm, I should investigate this further. We wait for the mobile friendly test result. Ah, it's not really mobile friendly, this website. Or there might be other issues. Hmm, inspect, and it's correct. Maybe one of my extensions has been doing this. I think it's correct. I don't believe it's not mobile friendly. Page isn't it mobile again? Why? This is scary, but don't you worry that much. You should do relaunch the mobile friendly test and see whether it has really some issues or not. Okay, so what we can do now is to uh, move to, for example, the schema markup validator. I've seen here some warnings. So how can we check this if we don't have access to the Google Search Console? Because here it says that the unnamed item is missing in the item list element. And so search not or Google bot cannot render the schema markup as it's supposed to be. So we can go to the schema markup validator here and we can use the schema markup validator of schema.org or of Google. So let me run the test here and let me go to the rich result here and run the test once again. So this can be used if you don't have access to the Google Search Console again. This way you can check for the schema markup. Okay, I'm gonna wait for this. Okay, and now the test is done, and I see that I've got this issue with the breadcrumbs. It says here two items, two breadcrumbs actually. And I can view the tested page as we did in the mobile friendly test. So what else we can do before or for checking the new published content? We can check for the open graphs. So open graphs for Facebook, for LinkedIn, and Twitter cards, and see whether the page is shown correctly in our social media. So we can go to the LinkedIn inspector, post inspector, and for Facebook, we can go to Facebook sharing debugger, post inspector, and we go to our web page and click here to see how it is shown in LinkedIn, whether the image and title are shown or displayed correctly. Yes, sounds correct, canonical. Everything sounds proper here. I actually forgot that I have deactivated my Facebook, so I cannot check in within the sharing debugger. So let's go now. Once I have activated again, let's copy the URL of this page, for example, and yeah, it is in French. Don't you worry. Click on the back and see that the title and the image is shown properly here. So one last thing I would do for a new content is to go to the page speed inside and see whether the page is not very slow. Because if the page is very slow, Google bots won't wait for it like forever. They will move on and they will not crawl it. And it would this can happen if the page is very, very slow. So you should be aware of that. I've actually added some videos on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna dedicate one playlist for my YouTube channel only for improving and for page speed optimization. So you can see now here how you can improve your page speed here. Go to my playlist. I'm gonna add it. Go to my playlist. I've got many tips and tactics to improve page speed performance. Now you can go and publish your content on your social media or advertisement platforms. You don't have to wait until Google has indexed your new content. Just go for it and publish it. Then, what you can do after 2 days or 72 hours, you can check whether the page has been indexed by Google in Google Search Console and with using the site colon. And you should do these check-ins like periodically each month to see whether the page is getting real organic traffic, whether there have been spikes, and whether it has been rendered correctly, like Google has chosen the right canonical page, etc. So I thank you for watching and being patient with me throughout the entire video, and see you in the next ones.